Hi guys, welcome to day 2 of our Leader Life Masterclass. Thank you for watching the replay. If you're watching the first few seconds of this, just say replay in the comments so that I know that you're watching this later on. And if you comment watching the replay, I will still be able to see the comments later. I'll get notified. So if you have questions, definitely ask them. If anything I'm saying resonates with you, if you have any thoughts, definitely comment them below because I want to hear what you guys are thinking, or I want to read what you guys are thinking. So yesterday, we'll do a quick recap. Yesterday, we started off with time management, right? So we dove into calendar blocking and identifying which tasks are producing and figuring out what only you can do and what else can be delegated or outsourced to other people on your team, or even like hiring somebody else to do for a lower rate than what your time is worth. So today, I'm super excited about today. Today, we are going to dive into the impact that you personally have on your team, a secret weapon you probably don't even realize that you had, and how that can be utilized to keep them motivated and working and growing without you having to try to convince them to do so. By the way, my name's Lauren Granado. I've been a direct sales leader in the top of the industry. I've been a top seller, top recruiter in multiple companies, and I've been in this industry for about 10 years. I've been managing businesses and coaching people for about almost 20 years now, which is crazy because I'm only 35 years old. Like 16 years old, I was helping run businesses. It's wild. Didn't seem weird at the time, but now looking back on it, I'm like, that's not normal. Okay, so I have some statistics for you guys today. Today is going to be all about, well, I want to see, before I say it, can anybody guess what that secret weapon might be that you can just focus on? You can control this secret weapon. You have full control over it. And it's going to motivate your team consistently. It's going to result in you consistently seeing team growth. And I want to see, even if you're watching the replay, just put it in the comments. I want to know. Take a guess. Take a guess on what you think the secret weapon may be. And then I'll get into the statistics that I have for you all. So I did a poll a while back, but I was polling direct sales and network marketing leaders specifically. And I asked first, I started off by asking, how's your team doing, right? How's everyone on your team doing? How's performance looking? Is everyone like killing it? You have rock stars, you've got people running, you guys are growing each month. That was like the first option. The next option was, it could be better. And then the next option below that was, I've been inconsistent. And then the next one below that was, I need to rebuild completely. So only 10%, especially like you guys who think, oh my gosh, I'm feeling everyone's doing so much better than me, because what you see on social media, right? It's all facade. Only 10% said, oh my gosh, my team is killing it. All right. 80% said, I have some workers, but not many. It could be better. And then another 10% said that they need to rebuild completely. So only 10% of leaders were like thrilled with their team's performance. 90% were like, we need to work on some things, or thought they needed to rebuild completely. The next question I asked was, what do you think could help your team sell more and grow more and be more successful? What could help your team grow the most right now? 88% said that they needed more team trainings and resources, that's the best thing they could do for their team. Spoiler alert, this is probably why now 88% thought that giving their team more resources was the answer to help them grow. 90%, and it's, pretty much the same people answering these, it's the same people giving these two answers. The same 90% of people said that they either needed to rebuild completely or their team wasn't growing. So remember yesterday when I said, if you are listening to what I'm saying about this time management and all these little nuggets I'm giving, and you're thinking, I can never do that. I fit work in between little pieces of my day, and that works for me. And I said, my challenge to you, my question to you would be to ask, how is that working for you? truly, because this was towards the end of the live yesterday. By the way, if you missed it, go back and watch it. That was towards the very end of the live yesterday. And I said, if you're still here watching this, that tells me it's not working for you, because you wouldn't be spending time watching me talk about time management if your time management was already like dialed in, right? So that alone, like that comes back to this. If you are struggling, if your team is not growing or it's growing really slowly, if you don't have a lot of workers and you think I'll just keep giving them more resources and that will fix it, how's that working for you? It's not working for you. Okay. All right. So only 9% said that in order to increase their team's sales and growth, the most powerful thing they could do is focus on their personal business. That 9% aligns with the same 10% of leaders who were thrilled with their team's growth. Because I did this poll and I looked at what each individual person answered, right? Okay, 91% of people, well, yeah, there was training and resources, and then there was also offering more team meetings. Somebody thought that offering more team meetings was a good way to make their team work. So the 91% of you said team-oriented activities like meetings or creating more resources would be the most impactful activity. It's not true. It's literally the reverse. Okay, so I know this is not a common mindset in the industry. Obviously, you can tell by this poll, like almost every single leader said, oh, if I just have more meetings or offer more resources or trainings, that's what's going to make my team work. Your team is not following your advice because they are following your example. So if you are giving great advice and then that advice is based off of evidence, if it's evidence-based advice from your personal experience, and you can say, oh my gosh, you guys, I just had a conversation with a new potential teammate and it went like this. I used this language. I used this method to walk them through objections and it worked. It was amazing. And you give that tool to your team, they are going to go use it. But if you jump on a training and you say, we're going to talk about what language to use when you're talking to your potential recruits, here's what to say, they're not going to go use it because it's not based off of something concrete. It's based off of what you've heard other people say and what advice experts in the industry have given. It has to be your personal experience. So even this right now, if I hadn't accomplished what I've accomplished, would any of you be taking my advice? Probably not, right? If I said, "Oh, I've been a top leader in direct sales," and that was it. I hadn't been a top seller. I hadn't been a top recruiter. I hadn't had an income that was comparable to people with double to triple my team size. If I hadn't had these concrete experiences that I say, this is what helped me be a top recruiter and top seller and top team builder, this is what helped me promote a bunch of leaders in my downline each month, you wouldn't be probably taking my advice. It's the same thing. Your team doesn't care about what rank you are, they care about what you're doing and what your personal business looks like, because they you have to give them the roadmap to get where you are. The ones, especially the ones who are working towards leadership, you can't just say like, sell and build your team and you'll get to this rank. You have to give them the steps, and if they don't see you doing the steps, then they're not going to listen to the advice. All right, so again, now it's funny because I'm looking at my notes from this poll that I did. It was an Instagram poll forever ago. And after saying, hey, like, this is opposite. Most of you guys are saying you need more team resources and more team meetings. It's actually opposite. You need to focus on your personal biz. And I said, I know, like, if this isn't regular advice, this isn't common advice in the industry. I said it's also not common for leaders to have a 60 to 70% active rate, or to have a team who is outperforming and out earning teams who are triple their size. You have to show people the results are important, but you also have to show them the steps on how to get there. Okay, so as a leader, right, it's really, really easy to think I'm responsible for this team and I'm responsible for their success. So I should set my personal stuff on the back burner and I should prioritize their success instead of my success. I do understand that mindset because I've been there. And it it's not a bad, it's like servant leadership, right? It's a flaw in servant leadership where you think that doing this activity over here, focusing on your team, is actually serving them more. But the truth is that focusing on your personal business first is actually serving them more. And here's why. There are constantly changes, especially when most of our business is on social media, right? There are constantly changes. When you're actually doing parties, or you're actually getting leads, or you're actually creating social media content and posting it and watching your algorithm, any of these things, doesn't matter what approach you have to building your business, there are constantly changes. When you're not in the field doing the things, you're just sitting back, like you're sitting up here and giving advice, and you've never implemented, like you're not implementing these things. Your team's not going to, it's going to go in one ear and out the other, even if it's the most amazing advice in the world, even if everything that you're saying is accurate and true, they're less likely to take it. When you are actually doing the activities and you can come back and, like I said earlier, you can say, I just had a conversation with a potential new teammate, and this is the language I used, and this is the approach that I used, and it went amazingly well. Like, go try this. They're going to say, oh, it just worked for her. I'm going to go do it too. If you can say, I just, you know what, I was just doing a Facebook party and I tried this new format and it did not go well. Has anyone else tried this format? And then maybe a couple people chime in, yeah, I've tried it and I ran into this problem, or I tried it but I tweaked this and it worked really well. So you're not only serving your team in advice and giving them more tools based off of what you're doing that is working or not working, you're also then building that sense of community and increasing the value of everyone on your team, because now you're getting their input too. And you're also subconsciously training them to do the same thing. When they try something and it works really well or it doesn't work really well, they're way more likely to come share it with the team without you having to prompt them, because they see you consistently doing that and they see your leadership team consistently doing that. And leadership is not a title, you guys, it's a behavior. So your up and coming leaders, subconsciously, they're going to copy the behaviors that they see you and your leadership team doing. So that's another reason why working your personal business is the best thing you can do for your team, because your up and coming leaders, your runners, your rock stars, subconsciously, even if they don't know it, they're going to copy the behaviors that they see successful people doing. And of course, they're looking at you as the successful person that they want to copy, even if they don't realize it. Your runners on your team, let's say you have a team of 100 people, your runners on your team are going to usually they're going to do like 50 to 75% of what you are doing. So if you shout your team out, tell me, do you guys do recognition each month? Tell me in the comments if you do recognition each month, if you do shout outs each month, if you put like a leaderboard, you make a little leaderboard of like your top 5 sellers, your top 10 sellers and their volumes, and you send it to your team group chat. Or if you're not doing that, you should, because then they can see where you are at. If you're never on that leaderboard, they're going to think, oh, she's not focusing on her personal business. I want to be a leader and I want to be where she's at. So in order to get there, I have to do what she's doing. And she's not focusing on her personal business. She's focusing on something else. And that's what they're going to go do. However, if you're on that board each month at $2,500, your runners and your future leaders, they're going to be coming for you, okay? Because driven, motivated, successful people usually have a little bit of a sense, at least a little bit of a sense of healthy competition. And it's also fulfilling their desire for accomplishment if they can beat you. So you don't even have to say, try to beat me. Just you put your name and your volume, your sales volume on there. You might have people there are anomalies. You could have someone selling $5,000, $10,000 a month and you're at like 2,500 consistently, but they're still looking at you. Okay. They're looking at you and they're thinking, I have to do what she's doing and I want to beat her because it's fun and it'll feel really good if I beat her. And they then go sell $2,500 a month. Maybe they were at $2,000 before and they upped their game. That next month, you see them catching you, so you sell $3,000 a month. Now they're going to be going for 3,000. Do you see how that works? So it's like, I have the statistic here. I got to pull it back up. Maybe like I don't know, top, like I said, top 5 people on your team, 5% of your team is going to be trying to do this, trying to beat you, trying to catch you. Whether it's recruiting or sales, if you're selling $3,000 a month and you're recruiting 2 or 3 people, like this is party plan. I know network marketing, you guys are like, oh, I recruit 52 people a month. Okay, then adjust what I'm saying to be your numbers. But if you have a team of 100 people and your one runner is trying to catch you, okay? Your one runner is trying to catch you, and you were at 2,500, so she went to 2,500. And the next month you go to 3,000, and so she's trying to hit 3,000. Just the 2 of you alone are increasing your team sales by $1,000. And you keep doing that, you stay consistent with that, you're going to get more and more people who are like, oh wait, like I can sell that much, I can do that much. Let's say it's recruiting, you're recruiting 2 people a month and your runners are recruiting 1 person a month. Let's say you start hitting 3 people a month. They're going to try to do what you're doing. They might not do it, they might not beat you, but the fact that they're trying to get close means that they're improving, right? Like they're producing more, they're improving more. And you, again, this comes back to you are in the field too. So now you can come back to the whole team and tell them what's working and not working and give them ideas. And that's motivating to even the people. Remember Sally? We talked about yesterday. Sally loves making graphics. She never wants to sell more than $500 a month. It's motivating even just to keep her engaged because she sees you working and she wants to be a part of that. It lights the fire within the whole team. And when you are consistently bringing in workers, right? Because you're a leader, you're not recruiting like your sister or your aunt who's never going to work just because you need a teammate for some incentive trip. Like, don't do that. That's gross. Whole other rant. But let's say you, because you're focused on the type of people you're bringing in, right? And you're bringing in runners, you're bringing in workers, even if they're not rock stars, like they're consistent workers who want to build a business. That motivates the rest of your team. That lights a fire within the rest of your team because new blood, like imagine, I don't know if you guys can remember, like some of you have been in this for a long time, some of you are new, but think back to when you were brand new and like the excitement that you had and everything that you did, you felt like an accomplishment, right? You were like, oh my gosh, I just got my first new team member. Oh my gosh, I just booked my first party. I just sold $1,000 in a week. Like whatever it is, you are on fire and you're coming back and you're asking questions in the group chat or the team space or to your enroller or leader, and it's feeding into the energy of the team. So when you as a leader continuously are bringing in new workers, that is raising your team up as a whole. It doesn't just add to your volume and sales growth or team growth and sales volume because you're adding people personally. It's bringing up, it's raising up everybody at every level. It's motivating everybody to do a little bit more, or even just to like be more excited about their business, which is going to result in them being more consistent. Okay, so that's your secret weapon. It's your personal business. If you are not personally doing what you expect your teammates to do, then you have the secret weapon in your pocket that you're just not using. That is fully within your control. And you're just letting it sit there and you're creating graphics and doing team trainings and having team meetings, and it's not effective because they aren't going to follow. Remember what I said? They aren't going to follow your advice. They're going to follow your example. Okay? That's the whole point of a leader. You are leading them. You're out in front, leading them, showing them the steps to take. You're walking the walk. This is crucial. And it's probably the biggest miss that I see with leaders across this entire industry, because you get to leadership and you think, oh, I got to focus on this over here. You still have to focus on your personal business. If you have 5 hours in your week and you cannot do 5.5 hours of work or 6 hours of work. You have to only do 5 hours of work. You work your personal business, and then you drop little nuggets to your team. I did this and it worked really well. Go try it. That takes you 30 seconds, right? If you never do a team training, you never have a meeting, work your personal business and drop nuggets to your team, because they are going to follow the trail that you are setting. Okay. So if you are thinking, if this sounds scary to you, right, to let go of controlling your team and focus on what you can control, your personal business, it sounds scary. But again, I'm going to come back to, is what you are currently doing working for you? Right? You're like, no, 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 but I do it this way. Okay, how's that working for you? No, but we have a team meeting every month, and we do a team training every week for my group of 50 people, and we've always done it this way. Okay, how's that working for you? Right? Like, it's not. It's not. So you should try something different. Try this for 3 months, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then come back and yell at me. But it will. It will work. All right. How will I coach my team, Lauren? How will I, if I just focus on my personal business, how am I going to coach my team if I'm just dropping nuggets? How will I know what they need help with? I'm not saying don't ever get on coaching calls. I'm not saying don't help them, but you do need to prioritize your personal business. Now, there are going to be certain things in your personal business which work for you but may not be effective for others. For example, if you are doing Facebook parties, you're doing 10 Facebook parties a month, and you realize that you need to focus on your hostess coaching because you look at your key performance indicators and you got to focus on hostess coaching. So you up your hostess coaching game and you take those tips back to your team, and they're like, well, I did this and it didn't work. I did this hostess coaching and my party was still only $200. That's going to happen, but we're going to dive in tomorrow about how you can pinpoint what your team needs help with. You're going to be able to pinpoint what you need to focus on in your personal business, but then also what each individual teammate who you're coaching and working with, as well as your team as a whole, you're going to pinpoint what actually needs to be focused on, rather than our sales are really low, I'm going to go do a live about booking more parties, or our recruiting's really low, I'm going to offer a recruiting incentive. I'm going to give the top recruiter a purse this month. That's throwing spaghetti at the wall. Those are not strategic approaches to training or incentives. We will dive into that tomorrow. But today we are done. I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave a comment below after you've watched this and tell me anything that you learned, a mindset shift that maybe this has led you to have, or if you've already implemented the strategies that I've said in this video. I want to know how it has worked for you. What have the results been? Give a tip to somebody else who is new, that this is new to, and they're maybe like hesitant to try this. Give them a tip. Tell them how it's worked for you. All right. I'm going to jump off of here. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here and for watching this. Again, if you're watching the replay, I want to hear from you. So please comment below, and I will see you all back here the same time tomorrow. Bye.